Hey everybody, we're back with chapter 2 of Shiloh. But before we start reading chapter 2, we've got a couple of questions for you. So I'll tell you the questions, then I'm going to suggest you stop the video and you guys talk about it, maybe with mom or dad or both or whomever, and just see what you think so far. So here it is. Question number 1. What do we know about Marty's family so far? And then question number 2, what do we know about Marty after chapter 1? All right, so stop the video, and when you come back, we'll be ready to read chapter 2 of Shiloh. Chapter 2. Sunday night supper is whatever's left from noon. If nothing's left over, Ma takes cold cornmeal mush, fries up big slabs, and we eat it with Caro syrup. But this night there's still rabbit. I don't want any, but I know Shiloh does. I wonder, how long can I keep pushing that piece of rabbit around my plate? Not very long, I discover. You going to eat that meat, or are you just playing with it? Dad asks. If you don't want it, I'll take it for lunch tomorrow. Oh, I'll eat it, I say. Don't you be giving it to that dog, says Ma. I take a tiny bite. What's the doggy gonna eat then? Asks Becky. She's 3, which is 4 years younger than Dara Lynn. Nothing here, that's what, says Ma. Becky and Dara Lynn look at Dad. Now I had them feeling sorry for the beagle too. Sometimes girl children get what they want easier than I do, but not this time. Dog's going right back across the river when we get through eating, says Dad. If that's Judd's new dog, he probably don't have sense enough yet to find his way home again. We'll put him in the Jeep and drive him over. Don't know what else I figured Dad to say. Do I really think he's going to tell me to wait till morning? And if the beagle's still here, we keep him? I try all kinds of ways to figure out how I could get that rabbit meat off my plate and into my pocket. But Ma, she's watching every move I make. So I excuse myself and go outside and over to the chicken coop. It's off toward the back where Ma can't see. We keep 3 hens, and I take one of the 2 eggs that was in a nest and carry it out behind the bushes. I whistle softly. Shiloh came walking toward me. I crack the egg and empty it out into my hands. Hold my hands down low, and Shiloh eats the egg, licking my hands clean afterward, then curling his tongue down between my fingers to get every little bit. Good boy, Shiloh, I whisper and stroke him all over. I hear the back screen slam, and Dad comes out on the stoop. Marty? Yeah, I go around. Shiloh's at my heels. Let's take that dog home now. Dad goes over and opens the drawer of the Jeep. Shiloh puts his tail between his legs and just stands there, so I go around to the other side, get in, and whistle. Shiloh leaps up onto my lap, but he don't look too happy about it. And for the first time, I have my arms around him. He feels warm, and when I stroke him, I can feel places on his body where he has ticks. Dog has ticks, I tell Dad. Judd will take him off, Dad says. Well, what if you don't? It's his concern, Marty, not yours. It's not your dog. You keep to your own business. I press myself against the back of the seat as we start down our bumpy dirt driveway toward the road. I want to be a vet someday, I tell my dad. He says. I want to be a traveling vet, the kind that has his office in a van and goes around to people's homes. Don't make folks come to him. Read about it in a magazine at school. You know what you have to do to be a vet, Dad asks? You gotta go to school, I know that. You you got to have college training, like a doctor almost. It takes a lot of money to go to veterinarian school. My dream sort of leaks out like water in a paper bag. I could be a veterinarian's helper, I suggest. My second choice. You maybe could, says Dad, and points the Jeep up the road into the hills. Dusk is settling in now. Still warm, though. A warm July night. Trees look dark against the red sky. Lights coming on in a house here, another one there. I'm thinking how in any one of those houses there's probably someone who would take better care of Shiloh than Judd Travers would. How come this dog had to be his? The reason I don't like Judd Travers is a whole lot of reasons. Not the least is that I was in the corner store once down in Friendly and saw Judd cheat Mr. Wallace at the cash register. Judd gives the man a 10 and gets him to talk, and then when Mr. Wallace gives him change, says he gave him a 20. I blinked like I can't believe Judd done that, and old Mr. Wallace is all confused. So I say, no, I think he gave you a 10. Judd glares at me, whips out his wallet, and waves a $20 bill in front of my eye. Whose picture's on this bill, boy? He asks. I don't know. He gives me a look, says, I thought so. That's Andrew Jackson, he says. I had 2 of them in my wallet when I walked in here, and now I only got 1. This man has got the other, and I want my change. Mr. Wallace, he's so flustered, he just digs in his money drawer and gives Judd change for a 20. And afterward I thought, what did Andrew Jackson have to do with it? Judd's so fast talking he can get away with anything. Don't know anybody who likes him much, but around here folks keep to their own business like Dad says. In Tyler County, that's important. The way it's always been anyhow. Another reason I don't like Judd Travers is he spits tobacco out of the corner of his mouth, and if he don't like you, and he sure don't like me, he sees just how close he can spit to where you're standing. Third reason I don't like him is because he was at the fairgrounds last year, same day we were, and seemed like every place I was, he was in front of me, blocking my view. Standing in front of me at the mud bog, standing in front of me at the tractor pull, and rising right up out of his seat at the Jordan Globe of Death motorcycle act, so as I missed the best part. Fourth reason I don't like him is because he kills deer out of season. He says he don't, but I seen him once just about dusk with a young buck strapped over the hood of his truck. He tells me the buck run in front of him on the road and he accidentally run over it. But I saw the bullet hole myself. If he got caught, he'd have to pay $200, more than he's got in the bank, I bet. We're in Shiloh now. Dad's crossing the bridge by the old abandoned grist mill, turning at the boarded up school, and for the first time I can feel Shiloh's body begin to shake. He's trembling all over. I swallow. Try to say something to my dad and have to swallow again. How do you go about reporting someone who don't take care of his dog right, I finally ask. Who are you fixing to report, Marty? Judd. If this dog's mistreated, he's only about 1 of 50,000 animals it is, Dad says. Folks even bring them up here in the hills and let them out, figure they can live on rats and rabbits. Wouldn't be the first dog that wasn't treated right. But this one came to me to help him, I insist. Knew that's why he was following me. I got hooked on him, Dad, and I want to know he's treated right. For the first time, I can tell Dad's getting impatient with me. Now you get that out of your head right now. If it's Travers's dog, it's no mind of ours how he treats it. What if it was a child, I ask him, getting too smart for my own good. If some kid was shaking like this dog is shaking, wouldn't you feel no pull for keeping an eye on him? Marty, Dad says, and now his voice is just plumb tired. This here's a dog, not a child, and it's not our dog. I want you to quit going on about it. Here? I shut up then. Let my hands run over Shiloh's body like maybe everywhere I touch I can protect him somehow. We're getting closer to the trailer where Judd lives with his other dogs, and already, man, they're barking up a storm hearing Dad's Jeep coming up the road. Dad pulls over. You want to let him out, he says. I shake my head. Shake it hard. I'm not letting him out here till I know for sure he belongs to Judd. I'm asking for a slap in the face, but Dad don't say anything. Just gets out and walks up the boards Judd has laid out in place of a sidewalk. Judd's at the door of his trailer already in his undershirt, peering out. Looks like Ray Preston, he says through the screen. How you doing, Judd? Judd comes out on the little porch he's built at the side of his trailer, and they stand there and talk a while. Up here in the hills, you hardly ever get down to business right off. First, you say your howdies, then you talk about anything else but what you come for, and finally, when the mosquitoes start to bite, you say what's on your mind, but you always edge into it, not to offend. I can hear little bits and pieces floating out over the yard. The rain, the truck, the tomatoes, the price of gasoline. And all the while, Shiloh lays low in my lap, tail between his legs, shaking like a window blind in the breeze. Then the awful words. I say, Judd, my boy was up here along the river this afternoon and a beagle followed him home. Don't have any tags on his collar, but I'm remembering you got yourself another hunting dog and wondering if he might be yours. I'm thinking this was a bad mistake. Maybe it isn't Judd's at all, and he's such a liar he'd say it was, just to get himself still another animal to be mean to. Judd hardly lets him finish, starts off across the muddy yard in his boots. Sure as hell bet it is, he says. Can't keep that coon dog home to save my soul. Every time I take him hunting, he runs off before I'm through. I've been out all day with the dogs, and they all come back but him. I can hear Judd's heavy footsteps coming around the side of the Jeep, and I can smell his chewing tobacco, strong as coffee. Yep, he says, thrusting his face in the open window. That's him, all right. He opens the door. Get on down here, he says. And before I can even give the dog one last pat, Shiloh leaps off my lap onto the ground and connects with Judd's right foot. He yelps and runs off behind the trailer, tail tucked down, belly to the ground. All Judd's dogs chained out back bark like crazy. I jump out of the Jeep too. Please don't kick him like that, I say. Some dogs just like to run. He runs all over creation, Judd says. I can tell he's studying me in the dark, trying to figure what's it in me. I'll keep an eye out for him, I say. Anytime I see him away from home, I'll bring him back. I promise. Just don't kick him. Judd only growls. He could be a fine hunting dog, but he tries my patience. I'll leave him be tonight, but he wanders off again, I'll whoop the daylights out of him. Guarantee you that. I swallow and swallow all the way home. I can't speak a word, trying to hold back the tears.